The story begins inside a big car factory in the year 1957. Many cars are being built and checked before they go out for sale. Workers called mechanics walk around the factory floor, testing each car one by one to make sure nothing is wrong with them. One car stands out from the rest. It is a beautiful, shiny red car. It looks powerful and new. This red car is next in line to be checked. A mechanic walks over to the red car and lifts up the hood to look at the engine, but something terrible happens. The hood of the car suddenly slams down hard right on the mechanic's arm. The mechanic screams in pain. His screams fill the whole factory. The other workers nearby hear him and come running to help. They grab the hood and lift it up to free the injured arm. The mechanic is in a lot of pain. He is given basic first aid right there on the spot, and then he is sent home for the rest of the day. Another mechanic is asked to take over the inspection of the red car. This mechanic sits down in the front seat of the car to do his checks. He is smoking a cigar while he works. Without thinking much, he taps some ash from his cigar and lets it fall on the car's passenger seat. A strange cold feeling passes through the air around him, but the mechanic does not notice anything unusual. He does not realize that by putting dirty ash on the seat of this car, he has made a very big and dangerous mistake. The workday ends. All the mechanics finish their jobs and leave the factory. The factory owner comes in at the end of the day to do one last check before locking everything up for the night. As he walks through the factory, he notices something odd. The headlights of the red car are still switched on. Nobody should have left them on. He walks closer to the car. He opens the front door to turn off the lights. Suddenly, the body of the mechanic who dropped ash on the seat falls out of the car and hits the ground. He is dead. No one knows why or how he died. The factory owner steps back in shock and fear. He runs out quickly to get help. He now knows without any doubt that something is very wrong with this red car. The story now moves forward to the year 1978, which is 21 years later. A teenage boy named Dennis is waiting outside his friend's house early in the morning. Dennis is a normal, confident, and friendly boy. He drives an old blue car. His friend Arnie comes out of the house. Arnie is very different from Dennis. He is shy, awkward, and nerdy. He wears glasses and does not look or act like a typical cool teenager, but the two of them are very close friends. Before Arnie gets into the car, something small but embarrassing happens. Arnie is carrying a garbage bag to give to his mother, but the bag tears open halfway. The trash spills out, and Arnie gets embarrassed right in front of Dennis. Then Arnie's mother hands him his packed lunch and says goodbye to him in a very overprotective way, which makes Arnie feel even more embarrassed. Arnie quietly gets into Dennis's blue car, and the two of them drive off together toward their new high school. On the way, they talk about how exciting it feels to finally be in high school. They are happy about being more independent and starting a new chapter in their lives. Dennis watches his friend get excited and smiles. Even though Arnie is shy and awkward, Dennis genuinely cares about him. They arrive at school and begin to settle in. They find their lockers and start setting things up. At that moment, Dennis notices a girl walking down the hallway. Her name is Lee. She is very attractive, and every boy in the school turns to look at her as she walks past. Dennis is no different, and he is immediately charmed by her. At lunchtime, Dennis is looking everywhere for Arnie so they can eat together and talk, but Dennis cannot find him anywhere. Then Dennis hears loud voices and noise coming from another part of the school building. He goes to check what is happening. He finds Buddy, the school bully, surrounding Arnie. Buddy is a mean, aggressive boy who enjoys making weaker students feel small and scared. Buddy has already grabbed the packed lunch that Arnie's mother prepared for him. He pulls out a small pocket knife and slits open the food packaging. The food inside falls all over the ground. Then Buddy does something even more cruel and orders Arnie to walk on the food and trip himself. Arnie is terrified of the knife. He does what he is told. He walks on the spilled food, loses his balance, and falls to the ground. As he falls, his glasses fly off his face and land near Buddy's feet. Buddy looks down at them and without any hesitation stamps on them and breaks them. Dennis has been watching all of this happen. He has had enough. He charges at Buddy and punches him hard. A fight breaks out. Dennis is trying to fight Buddy, but Buddy's group of friends grabs Dennis and holds him back. They are about to attack Dennis when a teacher walks in and stops everything. The teacher demands to know what happened. Arnie speaks up and tells the teacher that Buddy threatened him with a pocket knife. The teacher asks Buddy to empty his pockets. The knife is right there. The teacher takes it away and sends Buddy and his gang to the principal's office. The bullies are suspended from school. After school, Dennis and Arnie are driving home together talking about the events of the day. Suddenly, Arnie tells Dennis to stop the car. Dennis stops. Arnie is staring at something on the side of the road. It is an old, beat-up, rusted car parked outside a house. It looks like a piece of junk. It is broken, worn out, and completely neglected, but this is the same red car from the factory in 1957. The very same car. Arnie gets out and walks straight toward it, completely drawn to it. His eyes are wide. He touches the car gently like it is something precious. He opens the door and sits inside. He grabs the steering wheel with both hands as if the car already belongs to him. Dennis stands nearby and rolls his eyes. He tells Arnie that the car is pure junk and not worth a single moment of attention, but Arnie is not listening at all. Just then, the owner of the house comes outside. His name is George. He is an old man who looks rough and disheveled like he drinks too much. George walks over to the boys and explains that this car belonged to his brother who recently died. Now George just wants to get rid of it. George looks at Arnie's face. He sees a strange, intense look in Arnie's eyes, like Arnie is already deeply connected to the car. George decides right then to offer Arnie the car for $250. Arnie agrees immediately. Dennis tries hard to warn Arnie that the repairs alone will cost far more than $250, and the car is in terrible shape. But Arnie will not listen to a single word. He takes the money from his own savings and pays George on the spot. The car is now his. Arnie takes the car back to his home. He tells his parents what he has done. His parents are furious. His mother and father both scold him for wasting his savings on a worthless pile of junk. His mother is especially angry. She firmly tells Arnie that she will not allow that broken down car anywhere near their home. Arnie has no choice. He has to find somewhere else to keep it. He drives the car to a local auto repair garage. He and Dennis go together and explain the situation to the garage owner. The garage owner is a rough and disrespectful man. He talks down to the boys and treats them like they do not matter. But Arnie keeps talking to him calmly and asks if he can leave the car there for at least one night. The owner agrees just for one night and tells them both to leave. As they walk away from the garage, Dennis asks Arnie why he is doing all of this for such a broken and worthless car. Why go through so much trouble? Arnie turns to Dennis and gives him a quiet and meaningful look. He says that the car is a lot like him. Both the car and Arnie are things that people look at and see nothing worth caring about. But Arnie believes that if someone puts in the time and effort, the car, just like himself, can become something truly beautiful. Dennis listens. He understands. He drives Arnie home. Days pass, then weeks. Arnie throws himself completely into fixing the car. He spends every spare moment at the garage working on it. Dennis barely sees Arnie anymore. Arnie is not at school much. He is always at the garage. As time goes on, the garage owner starts to notice that Arnie is actually very skilled with cars. He is impressed. He offers Arnie a deal. If Arnie works at the garage full-time, he can have access to all the spare parts and scrap material he needs for free. Arnie accepts without hesitation. This means he can fix the car without spending any more money. Back at school, Dennis tries to move on with his life. He makes new friends. One day at the school library, his friends notice him staring at Lee again. They dare him to go up and talk to her. Dennis gathers his courage and walks over to Lee's table. He sits down across from her and asks her out on a date. Lee turns him down. She tells him she already has a boyfriend. Dennis walks back to his friends with his head down. He is disappointed and a little heartbroken. He decides he needs to talk to his old friend Arnie and drives over to Arnie's house. When Dennis arrives at Arnie's house, he is shocked by what he sees. Arnie is not the same person he was just a few weeks ago. The old Arnie was shy, soft-spoken, and unsure of himself. This new Arnie stands tall, speaks with confidence, and has a rebellious, almost cold attitude. He is dressed differently, too. He looks like a completely different person. Arnie refuses to stop and talk to Dennis. He is in a hurry to get back to the garage. Arnie's mother comes out and scolds Arnie for being rude to Dennis. Dennis tells her not to worry about it, but Arnie does not even look back. He just walks away and ignores them both. After Arnie leaves, his mother speaks quietly to Dennis. She tells him she is very worried about Arnie and about the car. Then she reveals something alarming. She has heard that the last person who owned this car died inside it. He killed himself by breathing in carbon monoxide gas from the car's exhaust. Dennis is shocked and disturbed by this information. He tells Arnie's mother that he will look into it and find out the truth about the car and why Arnie is so obsessed with it. The next day, Dennis goes straight to George's house to find out the truth. Dennis confronts George and demands to know everything. At first, George is reluctant to speak, but eventually, he tells Dennis everything. He explains that the car belonged to his brother. At first, everything seemed normal, but over time, his brother became deeply and dangerously obsessed with the car. It consumed him. Because of this obsession, something terrible happened, and his entire family died inside that car. George lowers his voice and says something even stranger. After his brother died, the car drove itself back to George's house on its own, with no driver. It parked right in front of the house. For weeks, George tried to get rid of the car. He tried selling it, giving it away, and moving it, but nothing worked. Every time he tried, something stopped him. Then Arnie came along and bought it. And for the first time in a long time, George was able to sleep peacefully at night. That evening, Dennis decides to investigate the car himself. He sneaks into the garage after dark to get a closer look at it. He reaches the car and tries to open the door. It is jammed. He pulls harder. Suddenly, the radio inside the car switches on by itself, with no one touching it and no key in the ignition. Dennis jumps back in fear and runs out of the garage as fast as he can. The next day, Dennis is at a football game preparing his team's strategy. He is about to show his players a special move when he looks up and sees something that shocks him. Arnie has just pulled into the parking lot next to the football pitch, and the car he is driving is Christine, fully restored. She is shining perfect and stunning. She looks brand new. It is almost impossible to believe that just weeks ago she was a rusted piece of junk. Lee is sitting in the passenger seat. She gets out of the car and kisses Arnie right there in front of everyone. Dennis stares. He suddenly realizes that the boyfriend Lee told him about was Arnie all along. Something breaks inside Dennis. He loses all concentration. He cannot think straight. He forgets the special move he was about to teach his team. In his distracted state, he runs into another player with full force and crashes hard to the ground. The collision causes serious damage to his body. Buddy and his gang are standing near the pitch, watching everything. They see Arnie's beautiful new car and feel a burning jealousy rise inside them. Dennis is taken to the school infirmary. He has serious injuries and has to be wrapped in bandages with a cast around his neck. The doctors tell him the damage is permanent. He will never be able to play football again. Arnie comes to visit Dennis in the infirmary, but his attitude is distant and strange. He does not show much emotion or real concern. Dennis tells Arnie about the permanent damage to his body. Arnie feels bad for a moment, and for a short while it feels like the old Arnie is back. Dennis asks Arnie how he managed to fix Christine so quickly. Arnie avoids the question. He simply says he worked hard on it. Then Arnie tells Dennis something alarming. He is threatening his parents. He has told them that if they do not register Christine in his name officially, he will drop out of school. Dennis stares at his friend and feels deeply unsettled. Arnie's eyes look strange. Something is not right. Arnie says goodbye and leaves. Arnie takes Lee on a date to a drive-in movie theater, which is a type of cinema where you watch the movie from inside your car. As they watch the film together, the movie starts getting romantic. Arnie begins to move closer to Lee and makes advances toward her, but Lee pulls back and gets out of the car. She does not feel comfortable being romantic inside the car. Arnie gets out after her. He is frustrated and upset. He wants to know why she stopped him. Lee explains that she wants their romantic moments to happen somewhere else and not inside the car. She wants a normal relationship and not one that always revolves around Christine. Arnie takes this as an insult. He gets offended and starts defending the car. An argument breaks out between them. Lee tells Arnie directly that he is completely obsessed with Christine and that he loves the car more than he loves her. Arnie goes quiet. He has no response. It begins to rain. Arnie uses the rain as an excuse to get them both back inside the car. Lee gets in, but the moment she does, she notices something is off. The windshield starts behaving strangely, going on and off as if it is malfunctioning. Arnie gets out of the car to check the windshield from outside. Alone inside the car, Lee picks up a burger they had packed and takes a bite. Suddenly, without anyone pressing a button, the car radio switches on by itself. Then a blinding, bright glow appears on the dashboard. The glow startles Lee so much that the food gets stuck in her throat. She starts choking. Outside, Arnie sees what is happening and immediately runs to open the car door. He pulls the handle, but the car has locked itself from the inside. He tries again and again, desperately, but the door will not open. Just then, another driver passing by notices Lee choking inside the car. He stops his car and gets out to help. Together with Lee, the stranger manages to pry open the door. He pulls Lee out and quickly helps her remove the food from her throat. She survives. Arnie watches from a distance. She looks perfectly new again, exactly as she did before Buddy's gang destroyed her. That same night, one of Buddy's gang members named Moochie is walking home alone. He hears the sound of a car engine behind him. He turns around and sees Christine driving slowly toward him. No one is behind the wheel. Moochie thinks it is Arnie coming to settle the score. He is nervous, but he tries to act tough. Then he realizes there is no one inside the car. It is just Christine, and she is not there to talk. Christine speeds up. Moochie runs. The chase leads Moochie into a narrow back alley. He thinks the car cannot follow him into such a tight space. He is wrong. Christine squeezes herself into the narrow alley, crushing her sides against the walls and pushing through by sheer force. She corners Moochie at the dead end of the alley, and she kills him. The next morning, Arnie comes to school and finds Dennis. He casually tells Dennis the news about Moochie. Dennis stares at Arnie. His stomach drops. He begins to suspect that Arnie had something to do with what happened to Moochie. Later, as Arnie is leaving the school building, a police detective stops him. The detective is investigating two things. He wants to ask about the mysterious and fast repair of Christine and about Moochie's death. Arnie shrugs him off and walks away without showing any concern. Arnie calls Lee and asks her to meet him. She refuses. Arnie hangs up seething with anger.
Fuck you, bitch!
Around the same time, Buddy and two of his friends are in Buddy's car driving away from a shop after buying something. A friend of theirs works at a nearby petrol station, and they plan to meet up with him. As Buddy drives, he checks his rear mirror and sees a car following close behind him. He tries to speed up and shake it off. The car keeps following. Buddy eventually recognizes it. It is Christine. Buddy pulls into the petrol station where his friend works and stops the car. He gets out and starts calling out for Arnie. He is mocking Arnie, but Arnie is not inside Christine. No one is. Christine's engine revs. Then she drives straight into Buddy's car, smashing into it again and again and pushing it hard toward the petrol pumps. The impact causes the fuel tanks to rupture. Petrol spills everywhere. A spark is all it takes, and a massive fire breaks out, engulfing the petrol station. Two of Buddy's friends are trapped in the fire and killed. Buddy manages to run away from the burning station. He sprints down the road, trying to put as much distance between himself and the car as possible, but Christine drives through the flames. She comes out of the burning petrol station completely covered in fire. She is a blazing, terrifying machine that cannot be stopped. She chases Buddy down the road. There is nowhere for him to run. Christine finally catches him and kills him too. Christine drives back to the garage on her own. She parks herself in the corner of the garage, still smoking and burned. The garage owner is there. He sees the charred, smoldering car drive itself into his garage with no driver. He is scared, but his curiosity gets the better of him. He grabs an old cloth to protect his hand and uses it to open the car door. He leans in and looks inside. There is no one in the driver's seat. No one at all. The car door locks. Christine kills him. The next morning, Arnie comes to the garage as usual. A police detective is waiting for him. He informs Arnie that the garage owner has been found dead inside Christine. The strange part, the detective explains, is that all the physical evidence points to suicide. The official report says the man killed himself, but the detective does not look entirely convinced. He watches Arnie carefully. Arnie shows no emotion. He listens to the detective and then moves on with his day. After the visit from the detective, Arnie comes by Dennis's house and invites him out for a drive. Dennis agrees and gets in the car. During the drive, Arnie completely drops the act. He becomes threatening and frightening. He lets Dennis see the dark and dangerous side of himself that Christine has been feeding all this time. Dennis is now certain he has to do something. His friend is no longer himself. Christine has taken over. Lee calls Dennis after that. They meet up and talk honestly. Lee tells Dennis everything she has seen and felt. She tells him the car is evil and that it is controlling Arnie's mind. Dennis agrees. He makes a decision. He is going to destroy Christine not because he wants to hurt Arnie, but because it is the only way to free his friend from the car's dark grip. Together, Dennis and Lee make a plan. Dennis and Lee set a trap. They lure Christine into a large garage. Inside the garage, they have prepared a powerful bulldozer ready to smash Christine once and for all. They wait. Lee goes out to look for Christine, thinking the car has not arrived yet, but Christine is already inside the garage, hiding in the shadows. The car starts moving. It begins chasing Lee through the garage. Dennis jumps into the bulldozer and starts it up. He tries to help, but the chase is fast and terrifying. Then as the car charges forward, Dennis and Lee see something unexpected. Arnie is in the driver's seat. He is the one driving Christine this time. The car and Arnie have fully merged. He is not just a boy anymore. He is Christine. The chase reaches a violent end when Christine crashes through the office wall inside the garage. The crash is massive. Arnie is thrown from the car by the impact. He scrambles across the floor and grabs Lee, trying to catch her. A huge, jagged piece of broken glass is lodged deep in his stomach. He lies on the garage floor, bleeding. In his final moments, Arnie reaches out one hand not toward Lee and not toward Dennis, but toward Christine. He dies trying to touch his beloved car. Christine sees Arnie die. She becomes enraged. The car turns toward Lee and begins to charge at her, ready to kill. Dennis acts fast. He drives the bulldozer straight into Christine. He hits her hard again and again. He smashes the bulldozer into the car with everything the machine has, but Christine starts to repair herself even as Dennis is hitting her. The metal bends back into shape. Parts reattach themselves. Dennis sees this and pushes the bulldozer harder. He does not stop. He keeps pressing forward with the full weight of the bulldozer until Christine is completely flattened and crushed into a shapeless pile of metal beneath the massive machine. Finally, she stops moving. Christine is dead. The next day, Dennis, Lee, and the detective stand together at a junkyard. The remains of Christine are being fed into a large industrial machine. The machine compresses the metal, crushing the remains of the car into a compact square block of junk. They watch until it is done. The three of them begin to walk away. They feel a quiet sense of relief. It is finally over. Then they hear music. A familiar song plays in the air, the very same song that used to play on Christine's radio. For a terrible moment, they all freeze. Then they realize it is just a radio. One of the junkyard workers nearby has a stereo playing that song. It is a coincidence, nothing more. They breathe again. They smile, tired and relieved. They walk away from the junkyard together, but the camera moves back. In the pile of crushed junk in what used to be Christine, a small piece of metal quietly begins to move and reshape itself. Christine is still alive.